Happy Thursday, guys. My name is Natalie Draw. If you don't already know me, welcome. I'm so stoked to be chatting with you guys. Here's the deal. I don't know how to do long form content. I don't know how to do YouTube. I'm never going to claim to be a pro when it comes to this type of content. But here's what I am going to claim, and here's what I am going to do. Every other day, I'm aiming for every other day to release a vlog like this, and then once a week release like a giant bulk vlog, so that way you guys can see behind the scenes of what my life looks like, and that will be all compiled together, probably a good 15 to 20 minute video every single day. These little daily vlogs, what I want these to be is just FaceTime. I think is maybe a good way to put it. So let's kind of just get into it. I personally have hit a bit of a creativity wall here today, and I know that there's a lot of other people that maybe are wanting to be creators, or maybe you have the aspiration to make content creation your full-time job. And a really big fear that I've gotten from a lot of my students is, how in the world do I not run out of ideas? And I feel like I'm really good at catching when my creativity is just like, you know, steady downgrade. Also just snapped my nail. Very upset about it. I was eating a pistachio. Very tragic. Anyway, a lot of my students have always had the concern of like, hey, will we run out of ideas? What do we do when we do run out of ideas? And I literally hit that wall this morning. Like, I felt myself waking up kind of being exhausted before the day started. I don't know if you guys have ever felt that way before. But I was like, I have to create. And when I hear myself say things like, I have to create, that's when I know, okay, the creativity well has dried, and we need to pour into it. So here's what I do to essentially fill up that creativity well. A few things. Number one, I sent a Hail Mary message to my riding trainer, and I ride horses. I started really riding horses when I was about 4 years old, but I never really trained in anything specific. And so anyways, I decided this year I was going to do one hobby for me, and that hobby was not just going to be working out, which riding horses does for sure give you a good workout. It gives you a really good butt, by the way. Just thought you guys should know. Anywho, with that being said, I committed to myself that that was something I was going to do this year, and now I take riding lessons, specifically hunter. I'm learning. Equitation is like what I'm kind of focusing on, and at this point, I've taken a few lessons. It's going great. I love it. And so what I did this morning was message my trainer and say, hey, instead of one lesson this week, can we do two? Because I need the creativity. Here's the thing. I intentionally picked a barn. I live in Nashville, Tennessee. So I intentionally picked a barn that was, even if you're not a horse girl, this will help you. I picked a barn that was like a solid 30 to 40 minutes away from me. Yes, is that a bit of an inconvenience? Sure. However, what I get to do in those 30 to 40 minutes is my time. It's completely up to me. I can jam out to music. I can listen to a podcast that I've been wanting to listen to. Whereas if I make everything super convenient for myself, I tend to lose creativity. And I know that that sounds counterproductive. However, I fully believe that creativity is sparked sometimes in the inconveniences. And so what I mean by that is every single time when I was living in Miami, I lived in Brickell like this time last year. Now I live on, I actually think I can show you guys fairly easily. I live on 8 acres of property here in Nashville, Tennessee. I'm about 15-ish minutes from downtown, something like that. My little Pilates reformer is right here. Like, I very much, I think this is what mentally happened. I got sick and tired of the Miami balcony noise, and I was like, F this, I'm out. We're moving to Nashville. Where was I going with this? Inconveniences. Okay, so when I was living in Miami, my ability to create, I felt like, was very low. And the reason why was because everything in Miami is so convenient. And I grew up on a farm, okay? So here's the thing, and I know I bring that up a lot, but I don't think you guys quite realize like how much that shapes the way that somebody thinks when you do grow up in a rural agriculture-based community. We didn't even have Uber Eats. We had a little something. I grew up in a town called San Angelo. We had a little something called San Angelo to go, okay? And it was finicky, to say the least. Like, it was a 50-50 shot if your food was getting picked up and actually brought to you. So what I want to say is that I was such a creative kid, just all the time. Like, I was always doing weird, like, quirky, creative type of things. And it was because I feel like we were somewhat inconvenienced, like in very random ways. So, for example, our Wi-Fi at my parents' house growing up sucked. Like it just stopped working after like 8 p.m. I'm 23, by the way. It's not like I was growing up in the 90s or the 80s. Like we should have had good Wi-Fi at that point, okay? And we just didn't. Like the Wi-Fi was so horrible that what ended up happening was I wrote a full book by the time I was 14. Like I'm talking several hundred pages, full plot, really good book because I didn't have Wi-Fi. So I had to do different things. So I've kind of taken that into my adult life as well. It's like the more inconveniences I have, yeah, it's kind of annoying, but I'm more creative. So like when I was living in Miami, I found it to be kind of overly convenient. Like to the point where I didn't have to leave my condo at all because all my meals were delivered to me. All of my groceries were delivered to me, which I want to be very clear is such a privilege, such a privilege. However, I don't do that. I don't do that here in Nashville. Do we have the ability to... I literally just complained about Miami balcony noise. Can you... There's something wrong with that truck. Anyway, where was I with this? Okay. Yes, we can absolutely have our groceries delivered here in Nashville. However, I go to the grocery store. I go and grab my groceries. I cook every evening. I have inconvenienced myself intentionally because cooking brings me joy. It sparks creativity. Going to the grocery store, it's just like have human interactions. I don't know. I just feel like that my creativity really gets sparked with the more what you could call quote unquote potential inconveniences. And I think a really big piece of entrepreneurship is delegating, and it is taking things off of your plate that you no longer have to focus on because you can buy back your time. And I did that when we were living in Miami. I was buying back my time like crazy. However, what I was meant to be doing with the time that I bought back was being creative, and I didn't even have anything to pull from because I don't know, I just like had no inspiration. I wasn't hardly leaving my house anymore. So with that being said, I really intentionally try to inconvenience myself when I'm not feeling creative. So, for example, instead of, going down the street to go grab coffee, I'm going to go to the farm stand that's 30 minutes away, go grab myself coffee, pick up some fresh butter and honey, and then come back. Like, it's little things like that that bring me creativity. Going for a drive, going to the grocery store, going for a nice long walk, which, by the way, I'm a fairly busy person and I have so many things on my plate every single day. And I'm very, very blessed for that. I'm thankful that I have so many things going on that when I do put in a 10-minute walk into my day or a 30-minute walk into my day, it's an inconvenience. It is by all means an inconvenience. However, it brings me so much joy. It brings me so much creativity every single day. I talk to my mom and dad every day because we've got a really good relationship and I love them. But talking to them takes at least, 45 minutes to an hour out of my day. And it brings me so much joy and so much creativity. So if you are feeling as though you're in a creative rut, if you're feeling stuck, you just can't come up with ideas, I really recommend that you challenge yourself to inconvenience yourself. And I know, again, that sounds annoying, but the second that you start doing things that are maybe, I can't do quotation. Ooh, oh, okay. Outside, wow, that's crazy looking. Outside of your comfort zone is the moment that your creativity starts coming back. And I was literally the least creative when I just worked for 14 hours straight at my desk. I couldn't even do my job anymore because I just wasn't creative anymore. So, cheers to being creative. Cheers to not letting our creative well run dry. And that's it for today. Thank you guys for listening. Let's go be creatives and go inconvenience yourself because my goodness, you are way too creative to not have your creative well be filled to the top. All right. Bye, everybody. Have a lovely day.